Stay curious. Shop VIDA. VIDAwines.co.uk. Thanks, VIDA, for sending me some wines to try. This is a shallow touch on the surface of Romanian wine to give you some idea of some of the magnificence that's happening behind our back. In England, we drink an awful lot of wine. We buy wine in supermarkets from over 32 different countries. But it's the Eastern European countries which are least represented. In terms of scale of production, it's a bit of a surprise because there are some incredible valley wines down there. There are one or two producers that have, I think, more recently put Romania on the map, doing fantastic work out there. What VIDA has done is gone out and found some of the lesser known, path least trodden areas of Romania and found some extraordinary grape varieties, which I guarantee you've never tried before, which actually give something quite special to the world of wine. Romania makes a ton of wine, not a ton, lots of tons of wine. If you go due east, you're in Austria. If you go south, you're kind of Bulgaria. If you go to the east, you're in Moldova. If you go to the north, Ukraine. These are all large wine-producing regions, very fertile agricultural areas with lots of sunshine, which makes for good wine in most cases. So we're going to start off with a wine which I think is very much left beam in anyone's book. This is VIDA Estate, so this is a wine they've decided to label under their own label. VIDA Estate Zghihara, the Husi. Now, can you see that? Zghihara with a squiggle, the Husi. Husi is a region right on the Moldova border with Romania. It's continental. It's a bit closer to the Black Sea than if it would be further the other way, but it makes really fragrant, delicious, quaffable white wine. I've never heard of it before, but let's see what it's like. The nose, wonderful lifted muscatty aromas, a bit like maybe like an Alsace Pinot Gris or an Alsace Muscat, something like that. It's kind of almost Turkish delight on the nose, I would say. The palate, fresh, clean, not a wisp of oak in sight. This is crystal, modern winemaking. The aftertaste unfolds into something a little bit more toothsome and pulpy, like biting into a lovely fresh apple, something like that. So it's got this lovely fresh appley fruit flavours. This wine's under a tenner, ladies and gentlemen. A grape variety you've never heard of before. I think it's worth a tenner just for the experience, don't you? And for really annoying your mates, saying, tell me where this is from, I'll give you 10 guesses. Right, so, delicious wine, and a lovely place to start, but a lovely costable white wine, and really does show what one of Romania's great strengths are. If you go all the way over to the other side of the country, just getting on the map here, to the area which is actually kind of, used to be part of the Austro-Hungarian empire, so it's just north of Serbia. You're in Hungary, and in fact there's a beautiful little city called Timișoara, which is actually the second largest city in Romania, but it has like 300,000 people, and it's perfectly formed. They call it Little Vienna because it does have the same architecture styles and so forth. But that area and Banat below it, very, very famous for making tons of really, really good, fresh drinking white wine. There is a variety which is indigenous to Romania, which I hold a lot of store in, and it's called Feteasca Regala, or Regal Feteasca. We're going to come on to a black Feteasca Neagra, at the end of this tasting. But it's a wine that you can buy for almost nothing. And it's a wine that if you leave it in the rack for 2 years, doesn't go off. It persists with freshness. And it's fantastic value for money. Search some out. I'm sure there's some on the VIDA website as well. Now, moving on, we're going to have another unbelievably obscure wine. Very, very pretty. This is their posh wine. They make 3 different levels of rosé. But this is Domeniile Averesti, who were the people that made the wine we've just tasted. So I'm guessing that Husi is where this wine comes from too. There we go. And this is a wine made from a grape variety, which I don't think you'll be able to pick up on camera, but it says Buzoasa de Averesti. Look, all right, just go online, look for rosés, look for an expensive one with one of these at the top. That is what's called a Vinilock. They're fantastic stoppers. There's a PTFE polymer washer which stops the wine from going off. It's a perfect seal, and it has a glass apothecary stopper. I can't throw these bottles away. Once you've finished it, it's going to have tarragon vinegar in it, olive oil, bath oil, you name it. These are amazing to keep because this stopper works indefinitely. You can take it off, put it back on, take it off, put it back on. Brilliant. German invention. Vinilock Rosé. Very, very happy with that. So, we're going to try and open this. very badly. Here we go. There you go. You just take the fiscal seal off and you just pop it. There we go. So what is this, style-wise? I mean, we're looking at quite premium rosé pricing. It was £16. So, I mean, it's probably the right time to explore wines like this, because it seems that no one's afraid of spending 35 quid on a rosé in a pub anymore since Whispering Angel came along. So if you're looking at £16 on the shelf, this is genuinely interesting and completely unique, and I've been told rather good. So let's have a look. Lovely colour, pale sort of skin colour, what the French would call pelure d'oignon, or onion skin. A really becoming attractive muscatty nose, but then it unfolds into something else. It's like very aromatic grapes and rose petals. There's a real rose petal taste and flavour to this wine. I don't know whether the pink is psychosomatic and that's made me think of rose petals, but damn what it tastes like it. I mean, this is bottled Turkish delight, if you want a better description for it. But lovely, great packaging, £16, great party wine, and also a rosé that's robust enough that you can drink it through Christmas. So it's quite a success, I think. Now we're going on to this wine. This is from an estate called Lechberg, super organic, vegan, all the bits and bobs. And this is an estate. Lechberg sounds Austrian, doesn't it? It almost certainly sounds like it probably was an Austrian family that came across. And it was established in 1962, so a modern producer. And this is made from a grape variety called Gewurztraminer. Gewürz meaning German for spicy, Tramin being a town in the Südtirol in Italy, where this variety was first found. It was called Tramin or Traminer. It then got taken to Austria and Germany, where it was known as spicy Traminer, aka Gewurztraminer. And that's where the name comes from. I didn't know they had Gewurztraminer in Romania, so I'm quite excited about this. One thing I do know is that Gewurztraminer is one of those grape varieties which, A, is very, very much misunderstood, because it's actually a red variety, almost red. It's got very pale red skins, but the level of acidity and extract is closer to a light red wine than it is to a white wine. But also, all the Gewurztraminer I've ever tasted always tasted better when it was 2 or 3 years old. And good news, this is 2019. So it's gone through its puppy fat phase, it's gone through its adolescence, its pimples have gone, and now we've got a mature 2.5-year-old Gewurztraminer. It's got beautiful colour. What am I expecting? Well, I'm expecting some of the smells that I mentioned in the rosé. Gewurztraminer, to me, should have the smell of jasmine tea, rose petals, Turkish delight, very commonly lychee, fresh lychees, or, you know, for the lessers amongst you, lychee fritters down the Chinese takeaway. Okay. Well, I stick my nose in it, and it smells mouth-wateringly like fresh lychees, which is absolutely delicious. Wowee. Even 200-year-old producers in Alsace often don't make Gewurztraminer as good as this. This smells absolutely fantastic. I'm looking at the price, $17.49. So $17.49 would be the price of a premium Gewurztraminer in the Alsace, but there's no guarantee the Alsatian one will be any better. This has a lovely nose. Gewurztraminer reaches the parts that other wines can't reach food-wise as well. It's a fantastic food wine. It goes with things like smoked salmon in a way that you wouldn't expect. It's lovely with things like Thai green curry. Try that. Lovely with all sorts of oriental spices and flavours. I love it with things like black bean, yellow bean sauces and things like that. Gewurztraminer, high in extract, low in acid, lots of body, often quite high in alcohol. I've just noticed 14%, which is about right. And also it's very rarely completely dry. So it has this kind of sweet and sour, works very, very well with that neon red sauce you get from the Chinese takeaway. Let's have a look. I'm very impressed. There's also a hint of something that I often get from quite warm climate Gewurz from places like New Zealand, and that's spearmint. There's a hint of spearmint in the background. So you've got spearmint, you've got lychees. I mean, it's a veritable fruit salad, isn't it? But very, very nice wine, very exciting. It's got lots of body. Probably get you ripped, to be honest, at 14% alcohol. But fantastic, all sorts of exotics at Christmas. Delicious, banging, what can I say? Moving on. Another Lechberg classic. This is Pinot Noir, Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is a big deal in Romania. If you go to the capital, which is the south of the country, and you go out from Bucharest, and you kind of take a slight move towards magnetic north, like 1 o'clock, you'll come to a region called De Almare. And De Almare has been growing premium Pinot Noir for over 50 years. I used to buy one when I was a supermarket buyer, and it was very, very successful and very popular. They're not new at this game. This is not their first rodeo. And this wine is an organic, naturally produced Pinot Noir from actually the other side of Romania. But the colour's right. The colour's there. It's not dark, vibrant red. That's never good with Pinot Noir. It's got a lovely, soft, gentle red with a bit of brick on the edge. The nose is spicy. And the palate's more mouthfeel. It's all creamy, spicy. I would love that with just good old-fashioned Christmas ham. You know that ham? What I call the Tom and Jerry ham? If you've ever seen Tom and Jerry cartoons, them running around the table, that big ham, which you slice in big slices, Wiltshire ham, whatever you call it, that's amazing with wines like this. Ham and Pinot Noir. In fact, I've drunk some of the most expensive wines in the world, Eschazeau from Burgundy, with a white bloomer ham sandwich with a bit of mustard on. I think that'll be an absolute winner in front of the bonfire at Christmas. Delicious. Final wine in this touch on Romania and what they can do is again from Lechberg. These wines are clearly from an estate that knows what they're talking about. Feteasca Neagra. This is an indigenous variety to Romania. It comes largely from the Banat side of Romania, on the Austro-Hungarian side, and is capable of making some amazing wines. It has lots of extract, lots of colour, lots of ripeness. It is Romania's own. In fact, you go right down to Black Sea. There's actually some plantings almost by the coast in Murfatlar as well. Well, what can I say? This wine is mega, mega ripe. It smells like warm brambles, like a bramble tea. There's a hint of chocolate. There's a nice little twist of, I don't know, bay leaf or something, a little bit of greenness to it, so it's not all simple. And a delicious scattering of white pepper in the middle of it. So, under a tenner, £16, £17.50, and these two are just a shade under £19, but they really show you what Romania can do. Watch this space for more lovelies from Eastern Europe. Thank you, VIDA. See you next time.